Gemini, big welcome to you. This is your tarot reading for August, coming from the mountains of Java. And Gemini, I hope you get something really useful from it. I genuinely do. Gemini, there's definitely a lesson to be learned in August from the universe. Definitely. You look at that middle card, it's the Seven of Swords. It's a card of deception. Now it could be you deceiving others, or it could be you being deceived. It's normally you being deceived, but let's see. I've got this feeling that it could be about you actually deceiving others. Bottom right hand corner we have the Justice card. Now this really is about justice. And this is the past. Now, I don't know if it's you receiving justice. Well, it is about you receiving justice, but whether it's justice in your favour or against you, I don't know. Whatever it is, it will be firm but fair. Now, one of the reasons why I'm being a bit cautious in how I interpret these cards is we now have the Nine of Wands, which is about self-imposed restrictions. So, I mean, they could be self-imposed restrictions because you're aware that people are deceiving you. Or it could be you're restricting yourself, you know, if you've received justice in the past and you're being a bit more careful. So I really don't know. In the future, we have the Hermit card, which is you cutting yourself off from the world and others and going inside yourself looking for answers. This is almost like you're a reformed criminal. Now, I'm sorry I'm taking this negative view of it. And I could well be wrong. I could well be wrong on all of this. The energy impacting on the outcome is the Magician card. This is you manifesting. I think it's you manifesting money, to be honest. And the card that would change the outcome is the Chariot card. This is you balancing things, getting a real sense of direction and moving quickly. But the outcome isn't a bad outcome. It's the King of Pentacles, natural entrepreneur. So I think you end up as a result of this as an entrepreneur. Now just say I'm right that you do have something of a criminal past. So many criminals eventually turn to legitimate business, don't they? Often with the money they've made. Is that how I'm to interpret it? I don't know yet. What I'd like you to do is hang on, listen to it all, because we're going to unpack this in much greater detail. And if it does seem to be ringing a bell with you, if you can subscribe, hit the bell, because that will tell you when I publish a new one. And also like this particular video and make a comment, because all of these help me to grow the channel. Thank you so much in anticipation, Gemma. You may well be asking, why from Java? What's important about tarot from Java? And the truth is, there is nothing so important about tarot from Java. Simply that here in Java, we have many different spirits who will come to help in your tarot reading. It'll probably put a different reflection on things. For example, the spirits here are less likely to be concerned about love and finances, despite people in Java being every bit as interested in these things as the rest of us. But maybe the spirits are trying to tell us something else. Now I'll be using probably 2 decks, but out of 3 decks. So the first deck is Tarot Nusantara, the second deck is the Steampunk deck, and the third deck is the Light Visions Tarot. Tarot Nusantara is actually a new one to me, which I love, whereas the light visions I've struggled with as a result of the rendering. Although I think I'll grow into it, I will keep using it and coming back to it. You can see on all of them I'm using quite a lot of salt, and that's to clear the energy and the spirits from them, something that I do fairly regularly with my tarot. And I also, you'll see a number of Jimat there that I use just to bring a good energy to the tarot and to my reading. Perhaps the most important mystical object we use in Java is the kris, the curly knife that you can see that I've placed across both decks. Kris are very important for bringing the spirits to work on any object here in Java. Call on the spirits of the mountain to assist me in shuffling the cards, in selecting the right cards and interpret them correctly for Gemini for August 2022. The energy that runs throughout this entire reading, and something I must recognise in all of my interpretations, is the Seven of Swords. And it's a card of deception. What we don't know is if it's you being deceived or you're the one doing the deceiving. And there have already been some indications, but I'm not sure that it's you who are the deceiver. We will sort of try and sort this out before the end. You look at the card, well, he's running off with the swords, but he's only running off with 5. There are 2 left. He's also looking behind. He knows he's done wrong. He might even be worried about being detected or change his mind. So it doesn't mean to say this deception will actually go ahead. Now, as I say, this runs throughout the entire reading, and I need to recognise that. And as I say, I'm not sure if it's you or somebody is deceiving you. I hope I will clear that up for you. Now, I think this, whether it's you doing the deceiving or whether somebody's deceiving you, is quite important. Well, it is important, whatever. But in your recent past, we have the Justice card. Now, this could be formal justice. It could be a brush with the courts. Now, whatever, I can tell you that it will be firm but fair. So if you have done wrong and you repent and you're honest, then the universe will look kindly on you. And I do get the impression that you have done wrong. I do get that. I mean, if not, it's justice coming in your favour, and you know, you will get a fair treatment, and you need to accept it and move on with your life. You look at it, well, it is about justice. You know, she's got a kris in her hand, a straight kris, which was used for execution in Indonesia. And they did it by placing a cotton wad on the shoulder and driving the blade through the cotton wad, through the shoulder and through the heart. Now, I'm not suggesting that either you're going to be executed or as a result somebody harming you, they're going to be executed. But it does convey justice, doesn't it? Very much so. Now we have the Nine of Wands, which is self-imposed restrictions. This is you restricting what you do. Why are you doing that? Are you conscious of the deception? Now, if somebody's deceiving you, are you conscious of their deception and therefore you're sort of not doing too much because you don't want to expose yourself too much? Or is it because you're the deceiver and you don't want to expose yourself too much? Maybe even that justice, you know, maybe you did serve a prison sentence. And whilst it doesn't feel like yet you've turned over a new leaf, you don't particularly want to get caught again. And you look at it, well, there's the wands in front of him, and he's not stepping out from behind the wands because he's frightened of something. He's frightened of something. But do you know, if he does, I think there's something much better on the other side. Much better. Yeah. In the future we have the Hermit, and this spells a definite change in you, a definite change in your thinking. You're going inside yourself and looking for answers. And now, if I'm correct that you have a criminal past, you have been to jail, this is you reflecting on it, so this is you eventually reforming. As I say, at first I think you just restricted your actions, worried about getting caught again. But now I think this is you thinking, is there a different life for me? Is there something else I could be doing? Now, if I'm wrong about it, about you, and that it is that you're being taken advantage of, is this you reflecting on your life and saying, how could I prevent myself from becoming a victim again? You look at him, well, you know, he's staring into that lamp, he's looking for the light, he's looking for inspiration. He's walking across the seashore with only that staff. So it will be a difficult journey. There's no doubt that it'll be a difficult journey. But it looks to be a worthwhile journey. Very much so, if you ask me. As I say, that's the future. Now, the energy impacting on the outcome is the Hermit, the Magician card. I'm pretty certain this is you manifesting, and I'm also pretty certain this is you manifesting money. And now, if I am right about your criminal past, maybe it was to look after a family. Maybe you felt forced into it, and you're now trying to manifest money to take care of the family in another way. That's how it feels to me. You look at the card, well, you know, he's definitely a magician. He's got the sword, he's got the pentacle, he's got the chalice, he's got the wand, all on that table, which you could see as an altar. So he's definitely trying to cause something to happen for him. I mean, it could be about using magic, but I think it's just about manifesting. And I've got the distinct feeling that you're trying to manifest money. The thing that would change the outcome, or nullify the outcome somewhat, is the Chariot card. This is a card of balance. You see there's a Hindu temple and a Buddhist temple in the background. One white horse, one black horse. It's about a sense of direction, but a sense of direction coming from a balance. It's also about things moving quickly for you. Things moving very quickly, things moving at a pace. You having a real sense of direction. That's a bit odd, given the outcome. I'm not certain I understand this fully. Let's see. The outcome is the King of Swords, and I have to apologise because I've interpreted it as the King of Pentacles, and this puts a different reflection on the whole thing. Might not have been money you were manifesting. This is a mental clarity. This is a card of intellectual power. This is a card of authority, truth. Now, of course, we could read into this that you have indeed been betrayed and that you get to understand it. That is one thing. Or it could be that you get mental clarity on how you've been leading your life, because of course we had the Hermit. You were looking inside yourself for answers. That's interesting. That's very interesting. As I say, though, it's also authority. So it could even be that, you know, if I'm correct about you having a criminal past, this could be another brush with authority. I mean, it's an interesting reading, but I don't feel I'm that close to getting it right for you yet. Now, I have to admit, there's so many loose ends in this reading that I don't know what really to get clarity on. But I think if we can get clarity on this Seven of Swords, the deception, then I would at least be able to put some of the jigsaw together for you. First card we have is it's a 5, isn't it? A 5 of Cups, despair. The next card we have is the Emperor. You're very strong, very wise. And the final card we have is the Queen of Swords, which is firm but fair but boundaries. I'm swinging now towards feeling that maybe this was somebody was betraying you. Because there's the need there to set boundaries, isn't there? Although that could be about the justice you received. Let's look at each individually. And yeah, the first card of clarity is the 5 of Cups. It's one of the most miserable, and let's face it, this rendering is particularly miserable. One of the most miserable cards in the entire deck. It's a card of despair. I mean, you look at him, he's I don't know how many cups, goblets. Oh, there's 3, are there? 3 empty goblets there. The barmaid's going, haven't you got home to go to? Go bugger off, you know. And he's going, no, I haven't. Don't care. Don't care about out. Yeah, it's a despairing card. And, you know, it's also about failure. It's about pessimism. But it's about regret. Which leads me back to thinking that, yeah, it's you. It's you who've got something of a criminal past. It's you who's trying to do the deceiving. Because this is clarifying the deception card. Yeah. Yeah. It's also making me wonder if you have something of a criminal past, maybe you've served time, and you met white-collar criminals and you're seeing the deception might be better than the techniques you'd used in the past. Now, come on, I'm going way too far with this analogy now, but, you know, yeah, it's interesting. And we now have the Emperor card, which is a card of authority, power, father figure. I think this is a brush with the law that you've had. I really do. That's how it's feeling to me. You look at him, he's sitting there. You wouldn't mess with him, would you? He's a very powerful person sitting there on his throne. Looking very powerful, because we've got regret, we've got authority, and the next card we're getting is boundaries, but also firm but fair. Yeah, you've got regrets over your life, the life you've led in the past, because you've had brushes with authority, haven't you? Yeah. Gemini, you little rogue. And you see, now we have the Queen of Swords. I mean, she's a likeable queen, but she's a likeable queen because she's firm but fair. And what did I say to you about justice? But the justice is firm but fair. She's a queen with boundaries. She's a queen that has an iron fist within a silk glove. You look at her, she looks charming, and people like her because they know that she's firm but fair. But she's got that sword there. Remember what I said about justice and the sword of execution. Now, I'm not trying to say you're going to be executed, but you know, there's that sword yet again. Sword of truth. You know you've done wrong. You know you've been a rogue, don't you, Gemini? Yeah. You know you've done wrong in the past, and that's why you become a hermit, because you're trying to see a way out of it. I think you're even trying to manifest a way out of it. But it does look to me like you come up against authority again. Do you know, I think we can summarise for you now, Gemini. Gemini, I think you've got a confession to make, haven't you? You've been a naughty boy or girl in the past, and I think you still are to a certain degree. Yeah, I think you have a criminal past. I think you might even have served time. You're trying to reform, but you're finding it difficult. Yeah. I think in the past you've certainly come up against justice. And I think you're trying to reform. You're putting up self-restrictions to stop yourself from getting involved in what you have in the past. But you know, I even feel that maybe in jail you met white-collar criminals and you feel that deception is a better way than the sort of maybe crime with violence, whatever it is you were doing in the past, and you want to reform, you want to change, but it's not wholehearted, you see. You're just seeing a different way. You want to do it now by deception. You want to deceive other people, and you think there's less chance that you'll come up against the law if you do it. And indeed, you're manifesting this. You're really trying to make a go of a different, if you like, criminal career. But I've got something to tell you. You're going to get caught again. You're going to feel the long arm of the law on your shoulder once more. So it's no good sort of just changing what you're doing. The universe wants you to turn over a new leaf, because there's so much authority here. And do you know, I think you feel that what happened to you in the past was firm but fair. And maybe, you know, what you did, maybe because of you needed to provide for a family, and it was the only way you could see. And so, as I say, you're trying to change, but doing it in a deceptive way rather than maybe brute force as you used before. But let me tell you, it's not going to work. And there is a possibility, because I think there's a degree of remorse, a degree of guilt, but you can't see a way out of a life of crime. I think that's the problem. However, there is just a chance that you will see it, that you'll try and balance your life. You'll see a new direction and you'll move quickly towards that direction. And if you do, you're going to avoid the long arm of the law coming at you once more. Gemini, the universe wants you to change. And I don't think you're going to, but you should. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed Tarot from Java as an addition to my channel, The Magic of Java. Please take a look at the other videos that I have on this channel about magic from Java, and I hope that you will become a subscriber. Now, if you want to hear your next tarot reading, hit the button, and that will inform you of when I publish new readings. I'm certainly going to do a reading for every month, but maybe I will try them a bit more frequently, say a mid-month reading, and maybe also some special readings. But above all, thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you, and enjoy Java.